Alright, so today we're gonna finish up Numbers, and then we'll spend probably about 3 Sundays in Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy.
Deuteronomy.
I don't know what happened to my whole, English is not Englishing today, so this should be interesting.
Yay.
We'll spend about 3 Sundays in Deuteronomy and then move into Joshua and battle.
Deuteronomy is a lot of like rehashing
It's 3 speeches, basically.
3 big long
Mhm.
law speeches. Welcome to Jewish law school. Everyone's gonna hear this.
Well, and it's Moses' kind of final words.
yeah.
So, if you can remember, why is the book of Numbers called the book of Numbers?
Because they counted people.
They had censuses. How many did they have?
12.
2. 1 at the beginning, 1 at the end. We're now at the 1 at the end.
I know that because it's 2 on the board.
Ding, ding, ding. We have a smart one. So if we look at it, if you count up all the tribes of Israel, in chapter 1 you get about 600, a little over 600,000, or 603,000. In chapter 26, that's 601,000. Now, mind you, both censuses are only counting those that are 20 years old and up, that are of fighting age or fighting capability.
Oh. All the.
It's like a mock draft.
No, it's like these
No,
are the people
That's
that
the
can't
size
fight.
of their army.
That's insane.
That is, for ancient times, that's a pretty sizable army.
Yeah.
But
Do they have? But here's the thing. Do they have order? Nah. Go.
I have a plan. Attack.
Say, don't worry. I have a plan. Joshua, go.
No, they had
General
orders.
version.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Joshua
they-
Joshua was the general.
Yeah, I mean,
He knew how to fight.
You know, I mean, they had like order of like people in things, but I don't know how well their like actual like order of marching was. It's just like, all right, I'm in charge. Let's go.
Don't worry, I have a plan. What's your plan to make a better one?
I think they were a lot more organized than we think.
Probably.
Because remember, you probably had some of them, because it was a very common practice for subjugated peoples to become a part of, to fight in militaries as part of their service. So, most likely Joshua actually had war experience with Egypt. Most likely, this first generation had experience fighting with Egypt. The second generation, you can compare these 2 lists. The only 2 names that are the same are Joshua and Caleb. Like, they're
Whoa.
not the same people. That generation is gone.
That's the whole
So
point
all
of
of them are
wandering in the
gone.
desert. That was the whole point.
They're
Of
still there.
their,
That's true.
that was the whole point of wandering in the desert. They literally wandered for 40 years and got a fresh army.
Pretty much. But that does not include women, that does not include children, that does not include the men who are older than fighting age, and that does not necessarily include the mass of other people that left Israel or Egypt with them. So again, you have somewhere between 2 and 5 million people, depending on where things land.
That
So,
explains why, of course, God helped them fight battles, but that explains why they really didn't have any problems taking care of cities.
No.
They're just like, all right, there's a massive horde of, here comes the horde of Hebrews.
yeah.
God, my dog is barbarian.
Well, and that's also why you'll see multiple kings kind of banding together to fight back,
It's because normally you'd be like, it's kind of messed up,
because
and then
is that, I'm pretty sure Egypt's army would have been larger.
yeah, because at that
And
point Egypt was
yeah,
an empire.
like your major civilizations probably had armies that were larger than that, but for a literal
city.
traveling band of Israelites who have not settled for 40 years, that's a massive army. Not to mention they're actually kind of somewhat trained. They may not be the best trained, but they know how to do jumping jacks.
That'd be a massive group of people, then it's just everybody.
That's true.
That,
I mean,
yeah.
even if you had
Much
like
less just
600,
people than you will.
yeah. I mean, even if you had 600,000 people with clubs who didn't know anything but like smack head, that's still a formidable force.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you got that many people and you've only got, 30, 40,000. You're not coming
It's
out.
gonna be run over.
Yeah, that's.
You may take a lot of them with you, but there's still gonna be a lot left.
Tactical retreat.
You need 30,000 reachers to go against that.
Yeah.
And Liam, what's his name?
Liam Neeson?
Liam Neeson's
Liam
like,
Neeson.
punch people in the throat. There's no movie that punch people in the throat.
Yeah.
He loves
Sometimes
it. Just-
several, I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
there's a lot of tracheas that have just been messed up when he's,
Yeah.
especially
All
if you're
for a
a foreigner
puncher.
from the Middle, if you're from the Middle East, he really doesn't like you.
New Liam Neeson, the new copyright puncher.
He's like, God, that hurt.
But you gotta put Jason Statham in there so he actually says something about,
Yes.
like he always
Punching
mentions
drugs.
the
Yes.
name of the movie, but anyway.
And that's Jason
So-
Statham's job. Is to
Yeah.
puncher.
My job is marketing. I state the name. Anyway, so the census is there. They really haven't, the fighting men have not shrunken that much, in comparison. But then we come, so that's in chapter 26. In 27, we come to Zelophehad's, daughters. So if we look at that, and this is an interesting chapter and it's worth pointing out. So if you go to verse 3 in chapter 27, and mind you, these are the daughters speaking to Moses. Let's go to verse 2. They stood before Moses, the priest Eleazar, the leaders, and the entire community at the entrance of the tent of meeting, and said, "Our father died in the wilderness, but he was not among Korah's followers." Remember Korah's rebellion. Who had gathered together against the Lord. Instead, he died because of his own sin, and he had no sons. Why should the name of our father be taken away from his clan, since he had no son? Give us property among our father's brothers. So, what's going on here? Ancient world, all inheritances went through the firstborn son. Alright, what happens when you have no firstborn son?
Goes to your next of kin, I know.
Goes to your next of kin. So essentially your name kind of just goes and you disappear from history. So there's a lot of people when we talk about the Bible's view of women, there's a lot of especially feminist voices and whatnot who have not read these things, not taking consideration of certain aspects of scripture, and will throw up claims of like the Bible
It's misogynistic.
is misogynistic, it promotes the subjugation of women and da-da-da-da. Here's a prime example. You have some very gutsy women
Mm-hmm.
who walk up to Moses in front of literally God and everybody. Says, "Hey Moses, our father didn't have any boys. He wasn't a part of any rebellion. He just died because he was a grumbly old man and that generation went away. So why should his name just go by the wayside?" So Moses goes before God, and the Lord answers in verse 7. What Zelophehad's daughters, I'm probably saying his name incorrect, but whatever. What Zelophehad's daughters say is correct. What you are to give them hereditary property among their father's brothers and transfer their father's inheritance to them. Tell the Israelites, when a man dies without having a son, transfer his inheritance to his daughter. If he has no daughter, give his inheritance to his brothers. If he has no brothers, to his father's brothers, brothers have no, father has no brothers. It's to the, whoever's the nearest relative, in the clan. So, here we have the concept kind of coming up of the kinsman redeemer, right? But that one section of scripture is really important because there weren't a whole lot of other ancient civilizations, if any, there's none that I can think of, but that was not a common practice, saying, hey, it goes from the son to the daughters.
Then you got no kids, then you
Yeah,
got no change.
then it can go. From what I have seen, which is not the totality of all things, blah, 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 whatever. If the father didn't have a son, it went to the brothers
Mhm.
or the other family. Just like if you had daughters, it was just kind of like,
Sorry.
and.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But here, and this isn't just Moses saying this is God
God's saying it too.
saying,
Yeah, Lord.
hey, don't skip the daughters.
Mm-hmm.
So I find that very interesting. We also have here where, shortly after this, where, Joshua is more or less commissioned to take up, Moses's mantle. We have some other, specific things about offerings and festivals, which we kinda already talked about, so we won't really get back into those. And some other regulations. In chapter 32, we talk about, the Transjordan settlements. So, there are 2.5 tribes that say, hey, we want land over here. We don't wanna go over here. Cause we don't wanna cross the Jordan. Why? I don't know. Could be cause they were lazy, could be cause they were just like, you know what?
We've walked long enough.
This is all nice and fertile and we've already fought stuff for it and we don't have to fight more for it, so why don't we just take it here? Those 3 are the tribe of Reuben, the tribe of Gad, and half the tribe of Manasseh.
Manasseh was huge.
Manasseh was huge. And of course, they are allowed to have possess the land on this side under the condition that they still cross the Jordan and help fight and conquer the
Makes
rest
sense.
of Canaan.
Yeah.
And then they can go back over and it's all good.
I was like, you can have the land, absolutely. That doesn't mean everyone can just stay here. You have to come help. So those of you that wanted to be lazy and stay over here and not come help fight, you still have to.
Yep.
Now
And
here's
then
the question: did the entire tribe go, or is it just the fighting men?
I would imagine it's fighting men.
No, the entire tribe.
Oh,
Yeah,
what?
because the rest of the tribe can't be
Yeah.
left. Because they would be
Oh, that's
slaughtered.
true.
Yep.
That's true.
So, yeah, Israel moved as one whole unit going through stuff. Now, there were parts where like they would go in camp and then the fighting men would go out.
Yeah.
And then you have things like Jericho where all 600 some odd thousand led the others. So you had a whole 2.5 million, 5 million people, whatever, just walking around Jericho.
No wonder they were so scared. It's just a horde of people just.
I'd like to be up high enough to see and see how far that goes.
Imagine all of
If
New
that's the
York
case,
City
I wanna make
surrounded-
sure that I am one of Rahab's
New York
relatives,
City.
because they survived.
Could you imagine being on like the outskirts of the horde walking? It's like, what's that little thing right there? It's like, that's the city. That's the city.
Or you just, you know, you live like just far enough out that you can't really see the city, but you just see this massive plume of like dust. Like, what in the world is that? That would be Israel.
You know, there's
It's like, and then in the end of the dust just dies down.
Yeah.
It does sound long enough for it to just start rising again.
Mm-hmm.
It's an Animal Planet episode of the Stampedes.
And then it finally dies down one last time. You hear this horn blast, and just, yeah. But
The cloud gets bigger.
chapter 33, we kind of recap all of the traveling, everything that's been said. Chapter 34, we talk about the boundaries, which is basically pretty much it is from here to here, and from here to here, like what they were given, basically.
And they didn't really, I mean, I wouldn't say after that, even with the kings, they didn't really conquer much. I mean, they eventually had to keep going
Yeah.
in order to get to the boundaries, because they didn't.
I mean, they ended up conquering like all the way down here and up. But that's later.
I mean, they didn't really have
With
like an
David.
empire. It was still like, that's just a kingdom.
Yeah. No, they never had like a full on empire.
Because God was like, yeah, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
This is your land. I gave you your land. Enjoy it.
Yep. And then we talked about the cities of refuge. So, cities of
Cities
refuge.
for the Levites too, that's important. They
Yep.
didn't have, their inheritance was taking care of the temple,
Yep.
but not all the Levites need to be in Jerusalem.
So they were given how many?
6. Are we doing 6 cities of refuge?
Yeah, there's 6 cities of refuge. I think there was 48 cities. So the Levites were given 48 cities throughout the land that were just theirs to live in, to do their priestly duties at, all that kind of stuff. 6 of those were cities of refuge.
Imagine it's like, you remember the Lego movie? How they have like the different
Universes, it's just all.
you just walk and it's like you take one step into their city and it like everything like completely changes and there's just churches everywhere.
Yep. So the interesting thing about cities of refuge is verse 11, designate cities to serve as cities of refuge for you so that a person who kills someone unintentionally may flee there. You will have the cities as a refuge from the avenger, so that the one who kills someone will not die until he stands trial before the assembly. The cities you select will be 6 cities of your city of refuge. 3 across the Jordan, and then 3 in the land of Canaan. So basically,
3 on one side, 3 on the other.
yeah, but
Yeah.
these were set up not as like if you committed a murder and it was
Intentional.
intentional, whether it was premeditated or spontaneous, whatever, that is, it didn't matter if you ran to a city of refuge or not, like the law demanded that you die. Now, if like me and you were in an argument and you were getting too close to me and I pushed you and you tripped and fell and hit your head on a rock and you ended up dying, that was not intentional.
Yeah.
Okay, so what the family had was they had every right to be like, hey, you killed CJ, we're coming to kill you to, eye for an eye, tooth for tooth.
And it would be the next male relative, wouldn't it? That would be labeled as the Avenger.
Somewhat, but it was kind of like whoever in the family could get to you. That was the one that was gonna.
It's like,
So-
don't worry, we have one waiting outside the city of refuge. You ain't gonna make it.
Well, and that's the thing. They could run into the city of refuge, and until they could go to trial. And I think there was something. Yeah, so he basically stays there until,
The Avenger passes.
no, or until he can go to trial and be deemed
Yeah.
whether like, okay, was I pushing you because you were getting aggressive to me and I was just trying to create space, or was I like actually trying to hurt you or whatever? Now, here's the interesting.
Oh, no, it's the death of the high priest.
No. We're about to get to that.
Okay.
So, again, 22. If anyone suddenly pushes a person without hostility or throws an object at him without malicious intent, that sounds like a wife. Or without looking, drops a stone that could kill a person, he dies. But he was not his enemy and did not intend to harm him. The assembly is judged between the one person who kills someone and the avenger of blood according to these ordinances. The assembly is to protect the one who kills someone from the avenger of blood, blah blah blah, until the death of the high priest. On
So
that.
he has to live in the city.
Yes. Basically, unless there is some kind of a trial that's like, hey, we've looked at the stuff, we've heard the stories, I don't think we were actually trying to like, whatever, then you're clear. But for most other things, like verse 30, if a person kills anyone, the murderer is to be put to death based on the word of witnesses, but no one is to be put to death based on the testimony of one witness. Remember, that comes up later at Jesus's thing, which is why they paid multiple witnesses to go up and lie.
Yeah.
31, you are not to accept a ransom for the life of someone who is guilty for murder. He must be put to death. Neither should you accept a ransom from a person who flees to the city of refuge, allowing him to return and live in the land before the death of the high priest. So basically, if someone intentionally killed someone, you were going to be put to death. If you accidentally killed someone, you could you can either take your chances with the Avenger and try to work things out with them, or you can run to the city of refuge, and that is now your home until the high priest dies.
When you go to trial,
While you're there.
Pretty much.
so but if you're
it
found
depends.
innocent in trial, then you just get to go for it.
You still have to live in that city though.
So if you accidentally kill somebody, you're like, crap, now I gotta go live in Starkville
Yeah,
until the high priest dies.
Right.
Yep.
Imagine Emily throws a pan at John.
And then you're
John
like,
dies, and she
you're
goes to live in
60.
Tuscaloosa.
You're 60, and the high priest is 30, so you're like,
Yeah. Well, and the fun thing is that
I guess they just kind of,
most of the high
penalty's been
priests,
away from home, I guess.
yeah, most of the high priests live pretty long.
Yeah.
Like, they live to be pretty old.
It's probably
So
what I
it's just
see
kind of
where
like,
it's like, you gotta tough it out.
Yeah.
I'm like, we just got a new high priest, and the dude's bleeding on the ground.
Mhm.
Ah, crap.
Yes. I
um,
gotta outlive this guy.
New high priest on the day he was murdered.
That probably did happen.
I'm sure.
so 36 goes back over, Zelophehad's daughters. This is actually them getting the inheritance. And that actually concludes the book of Numbers. Now, so
And I also noticed that when they marry, their land, the inheritance they have also becomes a part of the other tribe's inheritance.
yes. So the
Very close to home.
half tribe of Manasseh basically goes from about here at Mount Hermon all the way down to here. Uh-huh.
Hmm.
And that's just half.
Half. Oh,
The other half is like right in here. Um,
That's the next.
yep. And then Gad, they have, was I looking at the red? Yeah. So they have Ramoth Gilead and they kinda come down and are right in here. And then Reuben has a little tiny thing
Right above Moab.
right above the Arnon River, right in here. So they have a very small little spot, but they're not very big.
Firstborn, second one son, he barely got
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, he didn't really have much.
Also,
Dan is the one.
Simeon didn't have very much either.
No, Dan has a very, very small one.
Who's a big one down there? Judah?
Yep.
Judah, and then like Simeon's like in the middle of Judah.
Judah and Manasseh are like your biggest
Yeah.
clans, but
Dan's just all by himself.
yeah.
Wanna be?
Alright, so we made it through numbers.
Amen.
Yay. So just kind of.
Yeah.
Actually pretty good. So, just to kind of recap a little bit. Well, there's no need to recap. I mean, we've been from Genesis all the way through to Numbers.
Yeah.
Next week we'll start on Deuteronomy.
Deuteronomy.
Which now that Joshua has been anointed as the next leader, and he ends up being the first judge, technically,
Mm-hmm.
even though he's not in Judges, in the book of Judges.
Yeah, I can see him being the first judge.
Yep.
History. Where are you there, bro?
What's the word Deuteronomy even mean?
Second telling is what it
Second
means,
time.
because it's basically the second time that Moses is reiterating in 3 different speeches the law that has been given.
Yeah.
And his third speech is basically, hey, before I die, basically choose, well, it says in all, I think in all 3 of them, I set before you today life and death, choose life. And life is
Yeah.
the law.
Was that Moses or was that Joshua?
That was Moses. Joshua reiterates it.
That's
It's actually, it's actually,
His life, and when he cuts his hand, you know,
yeah,
what is that, Outlaw Joshua Wells, when they go,
I think so.
yeah, that's the old woman and the Indian that,
Yeah.
yeah.
But the Old Testament basically has, its main theme is, here's life, here's death, choose life. And that's kind of the theme through the whole thing. But he basically says, here's the law that was given to you, you should follow it, and,
Yeah.
I'm tired of your complaining now. He kind of pulls Yoda.
You disagree
Like, I'm
with
tired
the
of hearing Luke complain, so I'm just gonna like dissolve into nothing.
That's pretty
Well,
much
well, except we see Yoda do this. Moses kind of goes up to the ground, up into the mountain, and no one ever hears from him again.
Yeah, and then there's all the other stuff, yeah.
Whether he
I've
actually
seen-
lived
yeah,
until they
I've
climbed
seen-
down from the mountain.
Yeah, I've seen a lot.
No, he didn't, he died.
Oh yeah.
but-
I've heard a lot of people say that like, he's still there. Like, no,
But God buried him somewhere.
yeah,
It's like,
Plus-
the trick to find Moses' bones. Why?
plus, I mean, what was it, Jesus did the parable of the guy that was talking to Moses in heaven,
No, that was
Abraham.
Abraham.
Wasn't a
Oh,
parable.
Yeah,
It's one of the only reason why we're saying it's not a parable is because there's actually names.
that's true.
All the other parables,
Probably-
no names.
It just
Yeah.
dude served it more.
There was
served
a
it
man,
more.
yeah.
Yeah,
This one was, There was a rich man and Lazarus. Wait a
Right.
minute.
You ain't gonna let me in it.
But yeah, we'll cover Deuteronomy reasonably quickly, and then we'll get into the fun of the Canaan conquest and Judges. Judges is gonna be interesting.
Yeah.